Hello everyone and welcome back to the Foot Forecast, and today's video will be going for my League Cup predictions for the second leg. And look, straight away people say, oh, it's a Tin Pot Cup or whatever. When you're in it, you want to win it, and this will apply to all four sides. And the game I'm going to start off with is Arsenal at home to Chelsea. Arsenal are 3-2 up after the first leg. It was a very good game to watch, but you did feel that Chelsea needed to go into the Emirates League at least with a draw and ideally a win, because winning at the Emirates is very difficult. Only Manchester United have done that so far this season. And look, that was recently, but Arsenal are now coming off a 4-0 win away at Leeds United. Chelsea's form so far has been good under Liam Rosinha, but this is going to be a very difficult game. In terms of some concerns going into this game, Bukayo Saka pulled up before the Leeds game with an injury, so it'll be interesting to see if he's available for this League Cup tie. Mikel Merino is out for the season, and Max Dellman is unavailable. That doesn't really matter for Arsenal, so they've pretty much got a full strength side. Obviously Saka being out is frustrating, but I don't think it's a massive injury because he hasn't been at his best this season, and Madueke actually played really well against Leeds last game. For Chelsea have more concerns going into this game. Lavia is out, Tosin's out, Isugu's out, not that that matters too much. Colwell was out, as we already all know, for the rest of the season, and Gittins is potentially out with a muscle injury that he picked up against West Ham. And one of my main concerns for this game for Chelsea is Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer played a full 90 against West Ham, and at the end of the game, Palmer looked really tired, and he didn't look ready to play a game like this against Arsenal. But he is the sort of player you have to pick, I think, in this game, because he is a big game player. Esteval also may be unavailable, as he wasn't available for the last game because of personal reasons. And he was probably Chelsea's brightest spark in the first leg. And Chelsea made quite a few changes in their last game against West Ham to prepare for this game, but it didn't matter too much because they had to use a lot of those players in the comeback because they went 2-0 down at half time. And where I'm worried for Chelsea is set pieces defensively. Arsenal are the set piece experts, as we've seen all season, and it doesn't matter who's taking the set piece from the left hand side, as we saw in the game against Leeds when Madueke took them instead of Saka. The deliveries were absolutely outstanding, and it resulted in Arsenal scoring from 2 corners, so that's definitely going to be a threat in this game. Chelsea are also quite effective from set pieces, but I do expect Arsenal to be able to deal with those because they're very good in both boxes when it comes to set pieces, and in general they're a very good defensive side. I do wonder if maybe Rosinha for this game goes with a more sort of shoot on sight policy, because that works really well for Manchester United against Arsenal. And look, Chelsea have the quality to do this, especially if a player like Cole Palmer is starting. I think for Arsenal, the key is to kill this game off as early as possible and get that early goal in the first half. If they do this, they're pretty much through, because I can't see Chelsea overturning a 2-goal lead. It'll be interesting to see if Arteta does this or goes with a more defensive approach. And I think this is a key game for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. They need to get to this League Cup final and win the League Cup, and I think this will help them in terms of momentum for the rest of the season. I am going to go with an Arsenal win for this game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Arsenal, and that will mean Arsenal go through 5-3 on aggregate. Then we're on to the next game, which is between Manchester City at home to Newcastle United. And Newcastle are 2-0 down going into this league. It's definitely an upward battle for them in this game. But where can they hit Manchester City? Well, City have looked weak defensively recently. They haven't been convincing at all in 2026. And I think pace on the break with the likes of Gordon, Elanga, Johan Wissel as well, if he plays. My concern for Newcastle, my major concern, is how tired they looked against Liverpool in that game. If they're still tired, they are going to really struggle in this game. And they can't afford to just sit in this game and try hold out, because they've got to offer something at the other end, because they've got to overturn a 2-goal deficit. I still expect Newcastle to pretty much sit in a low block and then look to hit City on the break. I do still think that's probably their best approach, at least for the start of the game. And for Manchester City, it's very similar to Arsenal. 1 goal kills off this game. If it goes to 3-0, I think there's no chance Newcastle get back into this game. Some injury concerns for both sides, and for Newcastle it is potentially that midfield. Joe Linton is out, and it will be interesting to see if Bruno is available for this game. He was unavailable for the last game against Liverpool, and you feel Bruno is absolutely essential in this game. And Newcastle are going to have to be absolutely spot on in every moment of this game to get anything from this game and at least take this game to extra time. But I am really concerned about Newcastle's fitness going into this game. For Manchester City, they're coming off a poor result away at Spurs, and I would say a dagger to Guardiola's chances in the title race. It could be interesting to see if Guardiola decides to rest a couple of players in this game, because if his priority is the Premier League, then he may feel he needs to, because City have got Liverpool on the weekend away at Anfield. And Liverpool haven't been great so far this season, but that is still going to be a really difficult game for Manchester City. And you feel if they lose that and Arsenal win, then they're probably out of the title race. And I do feel some of the City players may need a break in this game. And Guardiola may feel this is an opportunity to rotate a couple of players, considering they are already 2-0 up on aggregate. In terms of how these two sides have been performing recently, Manchester City have actually been performing at a really poor level. If you look at Manchester City's recent form, they drew to Spurs, which was a poor result. Then they won against Galatasaray and Wolves at home, which you'd expect. Then they lost to Bodo Glimt away, a poor result. Lost to Manchester Derby away, a poor result. Then they did win against Newcastle, obviously in the Carabao Cup. But then after that, they drew to Brighton, drew to Chelsea, dropped points in other games. So there are some concerns going into this game for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. And I don't think they're a side that you probably fear going into this game. But the problem for Newcastle, as I've already said, is overturning a 2-0 deficit, especially when you're not playing particularly well right now. But I guarantee you, Newcastle will show fight in this game. They will want to defend their cup to the final whistle. But I just can't see Newcastle getting the job done in this game. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw between City and Newcastle, which will mean that City go through 3-1 on aggregate, a pretty comfortable win. You could argue a precursor for the Premier League title race. Let me know your thoughts on these League Cup predictions, and if you enjoyed this video, go subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video.